Hello, everyone, and welcome to this class. So this course is gonna be an IELTS reading. So we're gonna focus on different types and how to tackle the questions for IELTS reading. And so first of all, I want you to know like a little bit about IELTS reading first, like what are the components and what the information that you should know before you like take the test. Okay, so first of all, so it's gonna be 3 readings. Okay, so like in the test, you're gonna have like 3 different readings, and in total, it's gonna be about like 6 pages. So one reading, it's about 2 pages long. So it's quite long, to be honest. And there are different level of reading as well. Like the first one will always be the easiest, and then the second one will be a little bit more difficult, and the third one will be like the most difficult of all readings, okay, in the test, as it would be like something quite academic, and the vocabulary will be more difficult as well for the third reading. Okay, and the total time that you have for reading is 1 hour, and you have to complete like 40 questions. And by doing 40 questions, it means that like when you practice before the test, you could kind of know your level before you go to the test. I would say it depends on the score that you want. So I might say that like if you want like 6.5 out of 40, you should get like 30 questions correct. So that's like the point. Okay, so that's the whole point. And in each reading, so there's gonna be 3 readings, and each reading there's gonna be like they're gonna divide it into 2 different task types. So but the last one is gonna be 3 task types. And the task type that you're gonna find in the test would be like fill in the blanks, true, false, not given, multiple choices, and matching heading. So these are like something you're gonna find in the test, okay? And as it's limited time, so when you go to the test, you should like know what you're doing. Like when you see the test, you should like know the points that you should be careful or like focus on, just to save time. Okay, so today we're gonna focus on like one type of reading, and then so there's gonna be 2 tasks, and it's more like this kind of text and question usually be the first reading. So as I mentioned earlier, that it's gonna be the easiest like reading. So it's gonna be like general topics, and the vocabulary will be like kind of general English. So it's gonna be like the language where you like use in your daily life. So this is the target of this class. Okay, but before we go into like the the test itself, and I think you might have kind of background of reading IELTS a little bit before. So before we like go any further of the class, I want you to like try to do the test, like complete the test. So you should have these materials. So reading one here, okay? So you should have this, and the reading that you should focus on is on the right here, Australian culture and culture shock. Okay, so right here, and the reading itself goes all the way down to the second page. Okay, so this is the whole reading. So there's our 2 parts, and the question that we're gonna focus on, which is it's equal to the test, to the actual test, is this part here. So 1 to 6, only 1 to 6, true, false, not given tags, and also 7 to 13. Okay, so here, fill in the table here. So so this is like one reading. So in the actual test, so this is gonna be one reading that you have to do. So before you continue the video, I want you to pause the video like right now and like try to complete this reading. Okay, so complete this reading. And as I mentioned that there are 3 readings, 1 hour. So this one, you should try within 20 minutes. Okay, so pause the video for 20 minutes and then complete these 13 questions. So once again, 7 to 13 here, and 1 to 6 here with reading this part and also this part. Okay, so pause the video and we'll see you back in probably 20 minutes. Okay, as you continue the video, so I hope that you finish the 13 questions for now, and then you will check the answer like later on in this video. Okay, so we're gonna kind of work together as well. And before we start, before we like goes into the the details of the test, I want to introduce or remind you of like reading sub skills. So when we learn a language, they're actually skills. It is skills. So you would know like IELTS tests our skills of like reading, listening, speaking, writing, and in each skills there are like sub skills that goes with it, and you actually do it without knowing that you do it, but actually it is. And in your first language, it will be like easier, and you will just do it. And but when it's talk about like second language, and then especially like the test, sometimes it is better, and it will help you to complete the task if you know like these sub skills. Okay, which is like I'm gonna go through it quickly. You don't even have to remember the name of it, but kind of know what you want to do in the test. So like you kind of know what to do. Okay. So the first one, it's called, it's called skimming. Okay, so it's a skimming. And when you skim, it's mean that you want to just get the main idea. You just want to know the whole vibe, okay, of what they talked about. Okay. And the second one is scanning or reading for specific information. So it means that you have a target. You have a target of the information you want to know, which in this case would be the answer. Okay. And you like look for it. When you read, you just look for the answer. And then when you get the answer, then you stop and then you move on to the next one. Okay. So that's a scanning. And the last one, detailed comprehension. So comprehension means understanding. The third one is basically mean you understand it in details. So sometimes you would like skim it and then you answer it from your memory, because sometimes like I mean if you're especially like when your English is really good, you could like you could read and you could understand, and then you have the background knowledge of the topic, and then you can kind of just answer it. But the test try to trick you to answer the wrong one, of course. And in order to do it like correctly, you should do the detailed comprehension. So you should read it in details, like try to really understand the text and the questions in details, so that you get the correct answer. Okay, so these are three things that I'm gonna use when we're like do the test. Okay, when we actually do the like complete the question. Okay, but so we'll see what we should do. Okay, so I usually start off with skimming like all the time, even if like it's just 20 minutes and then with a long reading. But I will always start with the skimming, because when you skim it, you can kind of see the overall idea, the flow, the tone of the reading, and you can guess some unknown vocabulary, or even if like the vocabulary, you can see which exactly meaning that they means by the words, because sometimes one word means different things depending on the topic. So in this case, if you skim, you would see the whole idea. Okay, and usually when we skim, it is like, think about like when you go through, like when you scroll down Thai and a Thai Twitter, Facebook, or like news, so you would just kind of read through it quickly. And with the length of IELTS reading, like one reading, you should spend less than like 3 minutes on skimming, because we have limited time. Okay, so but if we just skim, sometimes it's like like we need to do something else as well with the reading. So usually when I skim here, I will do another thing, which is it's like the characteristic of the test. Okay, so one thing that you should know is that in IELTS, as I mentioned, that one reading they usually separate it into different tasks, and for this one there's going to be two task types. And so I will call it like one set of questions. So question 1 to 6 would be like one set, and then question 7 to 13, it will be like the second set. And by having like the two sets, so in one set, you can kind of identify the part of the text that contains the answer. And in the section that you identify, it usually goes in order, like 1 to 6 in order. Right? And then you could also identify the second set, which is 7 to 13, and then it usually goes in order again. Okay, so it will help if you skim and then you kind of know, like, okay, which paragraph belong to question 1 to 6, which paragraphs belong to 7 to 13. It could be like, from the beginning of the text to the end. It could be like, just the 3 paragraphs that contain the answer whatsoever. So it depends on the text and questions that you're working on. Okay, so what I want you to do now, so I want you to skim. So I will leave you about like, it was like 5 minutes. You should spend 5 minutes here to skim the text. So not just like skim the text and you complete the text. So you might have finished it, like you finished reading it already once. But this time I want you to focus on finding the paragraph. So like, I want you to skim the question as well, like, 1 to 6 and 7 to 13. Okay, so which paragraph the answer belongs to question 1 to 6, and which paragraphs, the answer belongs to 7 to 13. Okay, so like, so in this case, so you skim the text and then you just kind of, group the paragraph together. Okay, so you should spend less than 5 minutes now. So please pause the video and work on it and then get the answer before like you continue the video. Okay, in order to group the paragraphs, I wanna show you one thing, which is question 7 to 13. Okay, so in this task, you would fill in the blanks, fill in the table, and it is about stages of culture shock here, and it talks about stage, and then from the table you will see that there's stage like 1 to 4, and then with all the information right here. So this is how you skim the question. Okay, so like, okay, so there are 4 stages, and if you go back to the text, so you should cut it like right here. So would say from the second page of the reading, so from code 1996 here to the end of the text, this is the group of paragraphs for question 7 to 13, as it talks about first stage, second stage, third stage, and the last one. So right here you will see that if you like work on 7 to 13, you will just focus on this part. And to zoom in on the question, so you will see that like here 7, 8, and 9 belongs to stage 1. And if you read the reading, you will see that like the second paragraph is the second stage. So 7, 8, and 9, you will only focus on this paragraph, nowhere else. So by doing this, like by like skimming like this and kind of group it together, and you see the flow of the paragraph, it helps you to read less like this. So for the three questions, you focus on this only. And for the last question, it's actually focused on the name of stage 4. So stage 4 is the last one. So it's the 4th stage here. And then you only want to know the name. You don't even have to read details of it. Okay, so because you need the name, that's it. In like by doing this, and again, you will read quicker because you read less, and then you are more focused on the answer, the question. So I'll try to do is okay. So not just like read and answer the questions like randomly. So like if you do it all over the place, it takes more time basically. Okay, so here for question 1 to 6, so it's gonna be from the beginning to like right here. So before question 7, but be aware that there will be some reading that maybe the first set would go from like the top to the bottom of the reading, like all entire text. And then, the second set would be like just only like the second half. So it could be like that as well. So just be aware that you have to like skim through all of it, not just like cut and then like these for these and these. It depends. Okay. So let's have a closer look at question 1 to 6, and this one is true, false, not given question. So in this test, so it means that you have to find the information from the text. If it's true, so it means that you would find a sentence in the text, and then the information are more or less the same. So the information is the same, but of course the wording, the grammar, the vocabulary will be different because they want to test your language. If it's false, so it means that the information that you get would be like wrong. Okay, so it's just wrong information. The last one, not given. This is quite tricky, as some of you may think that, oh, no information on the text, which is kind of true, but be aware that like sometimes it is when you like miss it. So like it's not that like, oh, you couldn't find it and then you say not given. So sometimes you just miss it, or like you don't know the vocabulary. So usually when like actually not usually actually when you're going to answer not given, you will be able to identify the part of the text anyway. But what you cannot is that you cannot say if it's true or false. It's going to be kind of, well, it could be like both correct, like true and false, not sure, cannot identify from the given information. So that's not given. So it's the trickiest one in the test. Okay, so earlier we do like the skimming. So this time we're gonna move on to the scanning and detail comprehension. So when you answer like the question or task type scenarios, you have to find the part of the text. So don't do it from your memory. So you have to like, I would say you have to reread it again. Okay, so you should scan the text, like, which sentence of the text belongs to, such questions. And then you like focus on the text, if it like the same or not. Okay, so we're gonna do like the first one together, and then I'm gonna ask you to like do the rest like this, like try to do like the scanning and detail comprehension. Okay, so you will see that in this exercise, they have like the word that's underlined for you, but be aware that in the test, there will not be the hint for you like this. Okay, so the point of this is that you have to find the keywords that gets you to the information, like the sentence. That sentence that represents the idea. But for example, you will see that here. So for example, the first one, so the keyword, they give you the keyword, which is teachers. And so it's a keyword as it leads you to a specific part. But think about if you choose the word Australian, you will find this word like all over the text, like tens of it, So because it talks about Australian, so there will be a lot of Australian. If you choose Australian, you cannot like choose a specific sentence for it because there's a lot of them. Okay, so here, so we're gonna focus on like teacher students thing. Okay, so right now, could you go back to the text, okay, and scan to find which parts that it talks about teacher student thing. Okay, so I'll leave you like a few minutes to scan the text. Okay, so it's very early on in the reading text, and you should get this sentence. So it starts from here. I would say only to here, because there's a teacher here. Okay, so teacher, students. Okay, and so this is the sentence for number one. Okay, so this one, and so for this sentence, you should match the information with the question. Okay, so match it. So in the question, it says like Australian teacher will suggest alternatives to student rather than offer one solution. Okay, so the word like the second word that you should focus on is the word alternatives. So the word alternatives is the word option. So you say it's kind of synonyms. So you know, a number of options means alternative. So teacher will suggest, you know, alternatives. So the teacher give them alternatives. So this is kind of match, isn't it? Like they suggest alternatives, so they give them options. Okay. So rather than offer one solution, so one solution would match to what to do. So tell student what to do. Okay. And then the word rather than in IELTS, this is a very interesting vocabulary because rather than in IELTS means not. Okay. So it's matched to this part here. So you will see that Australian teacher will suggest alternatives. So yep, they give them number of options, but not offer one solution. So here, teacher or tutor will not tell student what to do. So for the, like, you know, the part here, it's more or less, you know, the same meaning. So the first one, the answer of the first one is true. You will see that we scan the text to see the keywords and match it. And then we try to match, you know, the specific part, like specific sentence to the question, the given sentence. Okay. So if it's true, you would be able to match like this. If it's false, you're going to be able to identify, yeah, this part is kind of wrong. If it's not given, so you might say like this part, it could be true and false. So that's not given. Okay. So what I want you to do now is I want you to do like this for the rest, okay, of the question. So 2 to 6. So I know that you get the answer already because I asked you to do like early on. But what I want you to do it again is like you reread it. And then, you know, based on your answer, like check the answers and then try to identify the sentence like this and match it to, you know, the question. And then pause the video now just to complete it. And then we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna tell you the answer for all, I mean, the rest would say 2 to 6, okay, based on scanning and detailed comprehension. So pause the video now. So we'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, let's have a look at the rest. Okay, so for 2 to 6. Okay, so number 2, the keyword is circumstances. Okay, and it's matched to this part here, circumstances. Okay, and then it says teacher will show interest. So you say teacher is the same teacher as number 1. Okay, here. So teacher. Okay, and then in the question it says show interest in students personal circumstances. So here, their circumstances is the student's circumstances. But what they do here is that they suggest, okay, they suggest, I mean, the teacher suggests the students to work out. Okay, so this is, so what they do here is that they give suggestion. But number 2, it say that the teacher will show interest. So what you have to concern here is that whether showing the interest and suggesting the workout, is it the same? Okay, so focus on the word show interest. So when you show interest, it means like you are interested in it. You kind of in, you know, in เราแบบสนใจ okay, so the question is whether interest equal to suggest. I want you to think about so if you are interested in something แบบ in มากเลยแล้วเราก็เลยแนะนำเขาทำนู่นทำนี่ is it possible? I think so แบบ in มากก็เลยแบบบอกนู่นบอกนี่เต็มไปหมดเลย which is true. Okay, so if it's like this, it's true. Would it be possible to be interested in something แบบ in เรื่องนี้มากเลยแต่ว่าแบบเรา in แบบเงียบๆเรา in แบบไม่แสดงออก in นะแต่ไม่แสดงออกจริงในใจแบบ in แบบในใจแบบว่าแบบไปดูตลอดเวลาเลยแต่ว่าเราไม่แสดงออกอะไร I think it's possible as well, like แบบ in เงียบๆ you know, in เงียบๆ so here in this case, like you are interested, but you could suggest or you don't have to suggest them. You can also like, you know, you can be interested in something like that. So in this case, it could be true or false, both. Okay. เพราะฉะนั้นมันคือได้ทั้งคู่เลยถูกไหมเพราะว่ามันแบบเนี่ยคือจาก in แล้วบอกกับ in แล้วไม่บอก in แล้วเงียบๆอยู่เฉยๆ ก็เป็นไปได้เพราะฉะนั้น in this case it means that it's not given for number 2 because as I mentioned it could be both. Okay, so this is the first one and the second one. Okay, so let's move on to the third one. So the third one, the keyword is their first name. Okay, so you should find it here. So they mentioned the first name here. So here with the first name. So in this part, they say Australians call each other by the first name, which is, kind of like what the third statement said. Australian use people first name. Okay, so the first half is kind of correct. The second half is like everyone feels their status is similar. So when it's true, you have to match to the whole sentence, not just each part. So their status is similar. So I would say it's kind of equally. So treating everyone equally. So this one, okay. So it's mean that they say that is similar. So one point that would help for this one is that you will see the word an illustration of this. When you say the word this, so it's mean like it's referred to something before it. So this is an illustration of this. It's kind of like for example, and then this mean like you refer to the sentence before. So here in this part, so yeah, treating everyone equally, status similar. So number 3 is true. Or you might say that they are uncomfortable with differences in status. So when someone like uncomfortable with like difference ก็คือแบบไม่ค่อยโอเครู้สึกไม่โอเคเลยเวลาที่มันแบบแล้วอะไรอะแบบสเตตัสมันต่างกันก็แปลว่ามันไม่เท่าเทียมกันถูกไหมเพราะฉะนั้นเขารู้สึกไม่โอเคแปลว่าเขาต้องชอบให้มันเท่าเทียม so it's also true. So for this one you could match to this the very first part or the second part. So it actually means the same thing. Okay, it means the same thing. So number 3, it's true. And number 4, student who study all the time, all the time, receive positive comments from their colleagues. Okay, so by studying all the time, you could match it to this part. So doing nothing but study. เวลาเจอ but อย่างเงี้ยคือแบบไม่ทำอะไรเลยนะยกเว้นอย่างเงี้ย but here is kind of like except. So doing nothing but study คือแบบไม่ทำอะไรอย่างอื่นเลยนอกจากแบบเรียนอย่างเดียว so this part match to number 4. They match to number 4. And then it's another keyword is here, critical of others. So critical means like in Thai it would be like วิจารณ์ซึ่งwhen we use the word critical, criticize, critique, those things, it's a little bit negative. Like critical คือแบบเหมือนเป็นคนที่ชอบวิจารณ์คนอื่นอะไรนะเพราะฉะนั้น student เนี่ยนะ student ตรงนี้นะเขาว่าชอบแบบไปวิจารณ์คนอื่นคนที่แบบเรียนอย่างเดียวเลยคนที่เขาว่ามองว่ามันเรียนอย่างเดียวเลยแปลว่าไอ้คนที่เรียนอย่างเดียวเลยอ่ะคือได้รับแบบ criticize from like like the critiques from others. So this one is false because in the question it says positive comments, but here actually it's negative comments. เพราะฉะนั้นข้อ 4 ก็เลยตอบ false. Number 5, so the main focus would be like financial, okay, financial issues, financial matters. And here in the text, only discussed with close friends. ก็คือคุยกับเพื่อนสนิทอย่างเดียว But number 5 here it says like discuss with people you do not know well คือคุยกับใครก็ได้ใครที่แบบเหมือนก็ไม่ต้องรู้จักเยอะก็ได้ก็คุยได้ So for this one, so it's false because อันนี้บอกว่าต้องคุยกับเพื่อนสนิทอันนี้บอกว่าคุยกับใครก็ได้ so it's like this one you say that it's the opposite. Okay, the last one, younger Australians tend to be friendlier than older Australian. Okay, so you will see the keyword like older. Okay, so let me clear screen real quick. So I want you to limit to like these 2 parts. Okay, so you will see that like there's kind of older, and then another keyword that they want you to find is the word rude. Like rude and friendly is actually kind of the opposite. If you don't like read, like if you don't read it in details, like older, rude, so it's mean younger, friendly. Like if you would just kind of skim through it, you don't really understand the details. You might answer true. But here in this sentence, it say with older people, it's rude to ask how old they are. So the the action. So this one they focus on the action to ask. So like if you do this is rude. No matter how old you are, but if you do this to older people, it's rude. But for number 6, it say like younger tends to be friendlier. It's just the age thing, like the age, they focus on the age, not the action. They just talk about like them. So this one, we don't really know by this action would be like who said it. It could be young people who said it. It could be like older people who said it. So it might be like we don't know, right? Like it could be both. It could be like or none of it would do it. We don't really know. So number 6 is not given. So here when it's not given, there's still like try to be that there's gonna be like some keywords where you like could choose, and then like they try to trick you. That's all. Okay, so number 6 is not given. So for the answer, okay, for the answer of the task right here. So from now, I'm gonna type it again so that you, so that you would check. So the first one is true. The second one is not given. The third one true. 4 false, false, and not given. So this is the answer, okay, of the 6 question here. So you will see that it's like you would be able to find it. You have to do the detailed comprehension in order to get the correct answer. So be aware of that. Don't just like skim the text and answer. Some of you, like a lot of people who are really good at like English, they read and they understand the whole thing, but they cannot get to band 9 because of like something like this, like the detailed thing. Like they understand, they know the vocabulary, but they try to trick you with like these kind of small details. Okay, so let's move on to the second task. And let's move on to the second task. And the second one is fill in the blanks. Okay, and here filling in the blanks, it's there's a little bit of details in the task. So they say no more than 2 words. So here, if you write the answer like 1 word, correct. 2 words, correct. If it's 3, even if you kind of get the correct kind of words, but if it's 3, it's wrong because it's you don't follow the instruction. So be aware of like the wording. And also they say choose the words from the passage. So it means that your answer, you should be able to highlight the word that you pick up from the text, which like that is the answer. Okay, so like they don't expect you to come up with your own words. And also it's gotta be grammatically correct when you put the answer there. Like you will see that it's like a sentence, like they are kind of, most of it would be a sentence. So they would expect that like the word that you choose when you fill it in the blanks, this sentence would be grammatically correct. If it's wrong, so if like it's grammatically wrong, so it means that definitely wrong answer. Even like the meaning is kind of correct, but if the grammar is wrong, so then it's wrong. Okay, so very be careful with the spelling here. Even if you write the correct answer, like the correct word, almost correct grammar, then you like misspell it, so they will give you 0 score for it. So very be careful. Okay. So here, even if it's fill in the blanks, but you could do it just like what we did in true false not given. So so it means that you could, I would say you could choose the sentence that represent the answer, and then you do the detailed comprehension, that you try to understand it in detail, and then you pick up the word, the missing word. So I think this part is very similar to the to the true false, but actually like instead of like just do the matching thing for the true false, there will be 1 word missing, and then you choose the word to put it in the sentence here. Okay, so again, we're gonna do like the same thing. So I'm gonna ask you to find the details. Okay, so again, just like true false not given, so for each sentence here, I want you to match it to the sentence. So like we're gonna do it backward. So I know that you already get the answer, but go back to the text again, choose the sentence, and then also match another part to the sentence here. Okay, so please pause the video like right now. Okay, and you would match the sentence, like the information from the questions, and then you compare it back to the sentence in the text. Okay, so complete it from 7 to 13. Okay, so and then when you're done, you could continue the video. Okay, so I hope that you get the like you like do the matching and compare the answer. So let's have a look at the keyword first. So these are like the keywords that you should have for in order to find it. So in order to scan text. Okay. So for the first, like number 7 and 13, so you try to find the name of it. Okay, like the name of the stage. Okay. So for 8 to 12, okay, 8 to 12. So it's like a sentence. So it's very similar to true, false, not given that like you focus on the sentence level. And here, so one thing that you should know is that like when there are pronouns like they, it, like you should know like who it talks about, so that you don't answer that word. So in this case, they, so when we use pronouns, so it means that they're gonna talk, they're gonna like say it once already. So they here, it's mean newcomers. Okay, so like newcomers notice something. Okay, and then if you choose the word newcomer or they, it's all over the place. So you will not get to the exact sentence because there's a lot. Okay, so I would say the word that you should find for number 8 is nationalities and culture. These are the 2 keywords. Okay, the question 9 here. So I might say like experience this stage. Okay, experience this stage. Number 10, I would say reject new culture and had at the beginning right here. So these are the 2. Number 3, they are not previously observed, like this part. Okay, and number 12 is like learning, dealing with difficulties. So these are like the part, like the content that you should scan the text and try to match it. Okay, so let's look at the answer. So go back to the text. So the first one, the name of the stage, like the first stage. So I would say this one is quite straightforward. So it's here. So refer to as, here, refer to as. So this one is kind of like what people call. So it's like the name. Okay, so it's honeymoon stage. So this is number 7. Okay, number 7. So for number 8, we want to match nationality and cultures. Okay, and of course they don't have these words. So for 8 and 9, so it's gonna be only in this paragraph because it's the first page. Okay, and for number 8, I think culture is easier here in this case, which is here, their way of life matched to the word culture. So their way of life mean likeวิถีชีวิต, how they live their life, what they do. So that's culture. So for example, if you like we're Thai, if we meet like people or especially like older people, we're like สวัสดี why, and if it but like foreigners, Western, they don't do it, they shake hands. So that this is a culture, this is the way we live, the way of our life. So this is culture. So nationality is people everywhere. So but like the word nationality, so it means like it's basically where you come from, like where you're born, like like generally speaking. So because like you're born in Thailand, so you're Thai. So or like your parents are this and that, and then like you have the those nationalities. So yeah, so it's people everywhere. Okay, so this is the first keyword. So it's gonna be in this sentence here. Okay, so the next one that we wanna focus on is the word notice, because it says here that newcomers notice something. Okay, so the word notice, I would say that it's matched to the word stand out. they stand out as actually like it is not the synonyms but the word stand out it's mean that it's like outstanding so it's mean like มันเด่นออกมาเพราะฉะนั้นในที่นี้นะคำตอบของข้อแรกก็คือคำว่า similarities เราต้องเป็นแบบ release แบบ IES นี่เลยนะคือต้องแบบเป๊ะเลยนะคำนี้เพราะว่าข้อเนี้ยคือ similarity มันแบบ stand out คือแปลว่ามันเด่นออกมาพอมันเด่นปุ๊บ newcomer ก็เลย notice it อย่างเงี้ยเพราะฉะนั้นนะอย่างเงี้ยคือเหมือนมันค่อนข้างจะ backward แบบสลับประธานกรรมกันนิดนึงเนี่ยนะแต่ว่า this is the sense this is the sense of it so yeah so this is similarities แล้วก็so this is number 8 okay so you will see one thing this is 7 so honeymoon here 8 okay so in IELTS I might kind of think that 9 would be in this sentence because it's gonna be in order so like 7 8 and 9 okay so I'm gonna focus on this sentence right away okay so they may experience this stage so it's this period of euphoria may last okay so last like it lasts for a couple of weeks to a month okay so like so like this one here may last so again this part is kind of switch subject and verb object okay and then in the question it says for up to he is up to so up to means like the maximum point okay so the answer would be up one here so this is the answer for number 9 so so it, like because we want the maximum point here the point here is that like it's a month if you answer only one word like month would it be correct like ตอบแค่ month อย่างเดียวไม่มีอะได้ไหม I would say wrong grammatically wrong เพราะว่าเวลาที่เราจะพูดอะกฎในภาษาอังกฤษนะ singular noun อะมันจะต้องมี determiner เสมอในภาษาอังกฤษเพราะฉะนั้นอะมันเป็น singular noun คือแบบนับได้แล้วมีอันเดียวเขาไม่ได้เติม s ถูกไหมเพราะฉะนั้นเราในทาง grammar เราต้องใส่คำว่ามันเข้าไปถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าใส่แค่มัน months เฉยๆอันเนี้ยผิดกันอย่างเงี้ยคือตัวอย่างคือ even if you get the word right but the grammar is wrong the meaning like if you translate it it's right but grammatically wrong so 0 if you only answer the word one แต่ว่าอย่างในที่เนี้ยถ้าสมมติเราเขียนว่า one month แบบ one นะหรือเลข1เนี่ยละมันอย่างเงี้ยเขาให้นะเพราะว่าแบบคือถูกกันมากเพราะว่ามีตัวเลขมี determiner ตัวเลขก็เป็น determiner แล้วก็ได้ความหมายเหมือนเดิมเนี่ยอันนี้ก็ถูกแต่ว่าถ้าเกิดใครที่เป็น month อย่างเดียวเนี่ยคือผิดอันนี้คือข้อ7 8 9ทีนี้มาต่อข้อ10มาต่อข้อ10อันนี้นะso it's gonna be in the second stage so we're gonna focus on like this paragraph right away อย่างเงี้ยเห็นไหมพอเราแบบสกิมแล้วเราพอแบบสโคปมันได้อะมันก็จะเร็วขึ้นเพราะเราไม่ต้องแบบมานั่งปาดอ่านอะไรเยอะแยะใช่ไหมทีเนี้ยคีย์เวิร์ดเราคือ reject the new culture แล้วก็ they had at the beginning เพราะฉะนั้นreject is you could match to here rejecting the new culture ตรงนี้นะทีเนี้ยเขาบอกว่าเขาreject อันนี้ใช่ป่ะเราก็ lose อะไรสักอย่างหนึ่งที่มีตอนแรกเพราะฉะนั้นในประโยคนี้นะคือที่คำว่ามีตอนแรกเนี่ยคือ initial นะคือ initial เพราะฉะนั้นน่ะคำตอบข้อนี้นะเขาบอกว่าเขา lose ถูกป่ะคือมันหายไปคำว่า lose match กับคำว่า turn into คือคำว่า lose คือ they lose คือ newcomer เหมือนทำสิ่งนี้หายไปใช่ป่ะแล้วเขาบอกว่า enthusiasm turn into แปลว่ามันเปลี่ยนเป็น irritation เปลี่ยนเป็นแบบ negative feelings here so the answer for number 10 is enthusiasm yeah นี่นะเพราะฉะนั้นคือ enthusiasm ก็คือเนี่ยเขาบอกว่ามันเปลี่ยนจากenthusiasm เป็น irritation เป็น negative feelings มันเขาreject แล้วแบบสิ่งนี้มันก็เลยหายไปทีเนี้ยถ้าใครตอบแล้วถ้าสมมตินะอันนี้เราตอบ enthusiasm อย่างเดียวใช่ป่ะแล้วถ้าเกิดเราตอบ initial ไปด้วยถูกไหมคำตอบก็คือผิดนะคือต้องตอบ enthusiasm อย่างเดียวเพราะว่าคำว่า initial มันคือคำเดียวกันกับ at the beginning they had at the beginning เพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเกิดสมมติว่าเราตอบถ้าเราตอบ initial ไปด้วยมันจะเหมือนพูดซ้ำ2 รอบซึ่งในภาษาอังกฤษคือเขาไม่พูดซ้ำกันเพราะฉะนั้น that's why it's wrong okay so it's wrong so you have to answer only enthusiasm เพราะฉะนั้นอันนี้นะอันนี้คือข้อ10เห็นไหมนี่คือข้อ10 so let's move on to the last 3นั้นข้อ11 12อ่ะมันอยู่ stage 3ใช่ไหมเพราะงั้นอ่ะเราก็จะแบบ right away that it's like in this paragraph and then the name of the last stage will be in this paragraph okay เพราะงั้นข้อ11แล้ว stage 3อ่ะคือเขา understand something ที่ not previously observed ไอ้คำว่า not previously observed เนี่ยคือคำว่า passed by unnoticed earlier คือ not observed เนาะ passed by unnoticed มัน so this is the same อันนี้ก็คือ match กันอันนี้คือ match กันแล้วก็understand ถูกไหม understand อันเนี้ยคำว่า understand อะคือ match คำว่า interpret บางคนโดนหลอกด้วยคำว่า understand actually like they're like begin to understand แล้วก็เราก็จะแบบตอบnew culture อะไรเงี้ยซึ่งจริงไม่ง่ายขนาดส่วนใหญ่มันไม่ได้ match แบบตรงๆขนาดนั้นเลยนะเพราะฉะนั้นนะอันเนี้ยคือเขา understand แล้วเขาบอกว่าเขา can understand can ก็คือ are able to นะ can understand เพราะฉะนั้นในแง่ของความหมายคำตอบเนี่ยมันก็คือตั้งแต่ some of the subtle cultural clues แต่ประเด็นคือเราได้มีโควต้าแค่2 คำเราจะใส่2 คำนั้นเพราะฉะนั้นอย่างเงี้ยคีย์เวิร์ดหลักของเราคือคำว่า clues เนี่ยมีแน่นอนในภาษาอังกฤษคำนามหลักมันจะอยู่ท้ายสุดมันคือคำว่า clues มีชัวร์ clues มีแน่ๆแล้วก็ทีนี้ประเด็นคือ2 คำใช่ป่ะตรงนี้มันอาจจะเป็นแบบ subtle clues ได้ไหมหรือ cultural clues ได้ไหมหรือ clues อย่างเดียวในที่นี้นะเพราะฉะนั้นเวลาช้อยแรกที่ตัดทิ้งเลยคือ subtle clues เพราะมันไม่มีคำว่า subtle clues มันคือ subtle cultural clues เพราะฉะนั้นตัด subtle ทิ้งไม่ใช่แน่นอนเพราะมันไกลมันไม่ได้แบบอยู่ติดกันpoint ต่อมาคือ cultural clues หรือจะ clue เฉยๆเพราะฉะนั้นเวลาเราจะตัดสินใจว่าเราจะเอาคำไหนหรือไม่เอาให้ไปดูว่ามันพูดหรือยังเหมือนอย่างข้อเมื่อกี้ถ้าเราจำได้initial พูดไปแล้วใน text ในคำถามก็ต้องไม่เอาฉันกลับมาดูข้อ11เนี่ยมันมีคำว่า cultural หรือยังซึ่งไม่มีถูกไหมเพราะฉะนั้นคำตอบข้อนี้ต้องตอบ cultural clues ถ้าตอบ clue อย่างเดียวก็เสียงผิดเหมือนกันเพราะว่าให้ข้อมูลไม่ครบอันข้อนี้ตอบ cultural clues อันต่อมาข้อ12เขาบอกว่าเด็กเขาเรียนรู้อะไรสักอย่างหนึ่งใช่ป่ะ dealing with difficulties so dealing with difficulties I would say like this part here feeling of orientation and anxiety no longer affect them ก็คือเนี่ยมันคือ deal with difficulty เนี่ยก็คือ disorientation กับ anxiety ก็คือเหมือนแบบวิตกกังวลแต่ว่ามันจะเป็นฟีลแบบวิตกกังวลเยอะๆถ้าดูการ์ตูนเรื่อง Inside Out ไอตัวสีส้มนะ anxiety คือมันจะแบบเลิกลักมันจะแบบกังวลเนี่ยเพราะงั้นอันนี้คือแบบเป็น negative feelings นะเพราะฉะนั้นนะเป็น difficulties ทีนี้คำว่า learn ก็จะ match กับคำว่า develop ไม่ไหวเพราะฉะนั้นคำตอบข้อนี้มันก็จะเป็นแก่งนี้แล้วล่ะ problem solving skills แต่เรามีโควต้า2 คำถามคือเราจะตอบ skill เฉยๆหรือเราตอบ problem solving skill อันนี้ถูกไหมเพราะฉะนั้นอันนี้นะตอบ problem solving skills ทั้งเซตเลยนะซึ่งตรงเนี้ยถ้าเราสังเกตนะตรงเนี้ยมันจะมีสิ่งที่เรียกว่า hyphen ตรงกลาง hyphen นี่นะ hyphen ตัวเนี้ยคือพอมันมี hyphen อยู่ปุ๊บproblem solving เรานับ 1เวลามันมี hyphen แปลว่าเขาconnect towards together to be like just one word เพราะงั้นตรงเนี้ยมันคือ problem solving skills แล้วถ้าใครที่ตอบแค่ skill เฉยๆอันเนี้ยพี่คิดว่าข้อเนี้ยผิดชัวร์เพราะว่ามัน broad มากมันกว้างไปมันไม่ได้เพราะฉะนั้นข้อเนี้ยต้องตอบ problem solving skills and the last oneข้อ4เพราะฉะนั้นเราไม่ได้อยากรู้ข้อมูลอะไรเลยเราอยากได้แค่ชื่อมันอย่างเดียวถูกไหมซึ่งข้อนี้นะมันก็ไม่ได้บอกชื่อมาตรงๆเหมือนสเตทอื่นถ้าเป็นสเตทอื่นมันจะแบบ known as refer to as อะไรเงี้ยถูกป่ะแต่ข้อนี้มันไม่ได้บอกมาเป๊ะๆเลยสักทีเดียวแต่คำตอบคือคำว่า adaptation จริงๆคือถ้าเกิดถามชื่อมันอาจจะแบบ a process of adaptation แต่ว่า a process of adaptation forward so it's too long เพราะฉะนั้นคำหลักของมันจริงๆคือคำว่า adaptation so you only have to answer adaptation นี่นะเพราะฉะนั้นอันนี้ก็คือชื่อของมันแล้วหลังจากเนี้ย they have settled blah 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 so these are like the details they try to explain it and we don't want to know because they don't ask. So that's how we complete the task. So you will see that we kind of like do it in details, but we're only gonna go into detail with the questions, the part that relates to the answer. เราจะไม่อ่านแบบไถไปเรื่อยๆคือเขาไม่ได้ expect ว่าเราจะต้องอ่านทุกคำอยู่แล้วไม่ทันเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเกิดสมมติแบบให้ได้อ่านทุกคำใช่ป่ะเนี่ยทุกคนก็ทำได้ไปหมดเพราะฉะนั้นสิ่งหนึ่งที่เขาหวังจากเราก็คือการที่เราแบบ manage เวลาในการทำเพราะงั้นนะเวลาตอนทำ IELTS เนี่ยก็คือฝากเอาไว้ว่ามันจะต้องแบบโฟกัสนิดนึงเพราะฉะนั้นthese are the answer of like the first reading แล้วก็อันเนี้ยมันก็จะเป็นฟิลของเขาเรียกว่าอะไรของ reading 1คือ reading 1มันจะแบบฟิลประมาณนี้ซึ่งจริงๆเลเวลความยากง่ายของแต่ละ reading มันก็ depends นะเพราะว่าบางข้อสอบreading 1ง่ายแบบง่ายอยู่แล้วง่ายไปอีกบางอันก็คือแบบบางอันreading 1มันก็จะแบบง่ายเพราะว่ามันเป็น general topic อย่างเงี้ยมันจะเป็นเรื่องทั่วๆไปค่ะเขาจะช็อกแล้วก็คำศัพท์ก็จะเป็นคำศัพท์ที่จริงๆถ้าเราดูจากอันเนี้ยมันจะค่อนข้างเป็นคำศัพท์ที่เราเจอในชีวิตประจำวันเพราะฉะนั้นด้วยตัวเนเจอร์ของมันจะง่ายแต่บางทีมันดันเป็นเรื่องที่ยากคือเป็นแบบเท็กซ์หนึ่งที่ยากอะไรเงี้ยมันก็เป็นไปได้เหมือนกันแต่มันจะอยู่ที่ประมาณนี้อย่างเงี้ยแล้วมันอาจจะเจอแบบศัพท์ยากได้มากกว่านิดหน่อยอะไรเงี้ย it depends on the test เพราะฉะนั้นแต่ละอันมันมีคาแรคเตอร์ของมันซึ่งวันนี้ที่เราดูกันก็คือ true false not given เนาะแล้วก็true false not given แล้วก็fill in the blanks เพราะฉะนั้นเดี๋ยวคลาสถัดไปก็จะโฟกัสกับ task type อื่นซึ่งแต่สุดท้ายแล้วเวลาตอนทำนะมันก็จะฟีลประมาณนี้แหละคือประมาณเดียวกันคือหมายถึงว่าวิธีการทำสุดท้ายเราจะต้องแบบลงไปดีเทล comprehension เพราะว่าเราอยากได้คำตอบที่มันแบบ specific ที่สุดนะเพราะฉะนั้นคลาสนี้ก็ประมาณนี้นะก็คือ2 task ตัวนี้นะแล้วเดี๋ยวคลาสหน้ามาเจอreading 2เนาะเป็น task type ใหม่กัน